Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today I'm going to be looking at the Bloodlines playing cards from Riffle Shuffle on behalf of South African designer Gregory Darroll. Now, this is a late 2019 Kickstarter deck that was just fulfilled, and it comes in two different colors. You've got on this side the ruby red color and then the emerald green alternate color on the other side. So we'll, for the most part, look at the ruby red, but we'll look really quickly at the end at the emerald green and talk about the differences. So start with the tuck case, and you can see a really bold stained glass kind of look to the entire deck. This is really in keeping with Gregory Darroll's kind of signature style. He uses a lot of bold colors in his illustrations. So the front, it's a matte tuck case, a white stock, but it's almost completely covered with these kind of shards of color all the way through. And you can see it has kind of an orange color, a little bit of red, a little bit of teal, and then this off-white cream color. But it comes together to make this really bold and really nice design. So it says Bloodlines in the center, and then the four corners represent the four different pips. So you can kind of see a spade made out there, a diamond, club, and heart. There is a really light embossing on these, kind of around each of these frames, and then on the pips themselves, as well as the wording here in the center. So you get a really, really light embossing, but it's not too heavy or bold of an emboss at all. So that's the front. On the sides, you have, again, that stained glass look with the four pips going down. Same thing on the other side. And then the back of the tuck is the same as the front. On the bottom, you have your ad copy for Riffle Shuffle and Gregory Darroll. And you can see this is a first edition out of 2,500. So both of these colors come in limited to 2,500. And then on the top, you have those four pips again. As you open up the tuck case in the inner flap here, it's got a colorful design, just says good luck. And then little skulls, which are going to be a repeated motif through this in that same color pattern on the inside. The interior of the tuck doesn't have any printing, but you can see some of that embossing coming through. So that's the tuck. Let's take a look at the cards, starting with the back design. And just like we saw with the tuck, it is that same really bold pattern coming through on this one. But this is not a design you see anywhere on the tuck case itself. So you've got the two skulls here. So it's skulls, and you can see the body of the skull kind of abstract through here because you got the two hands as well. So a reflected skull or skeleton sitting there, and then you've got the four pips in the corner. So the clubs, diamonds, hearts, or spades rather, and hearts. So it's not a two-way back design. It is a one-way just because of those four pips in the corner. Also, the hands are a slightly different color. So it is a one-way back design. Wish they'd done a little bit to make it a two-way back design, but it is still a really beautiful, bold, colorful design. Has a thin white poker border around the edge. Just a really nice, colorful back design. Extra cards you get. You do get the two jokers, one in the ruby red color, and then one a little bit more of greens and blues coming through it. Both just say Joker, Joker, and then have this, what they call an Aztec king style skeleton sitting there, and he's holding two axes in his hands. So there are your two jokers. You also get an ad card and a gaff card, so you get a blank face card and a RiffleShuffle.com ad card. Really simple one. So that's the extra cards. Now into the deck itself. And it is a full custom deck with tons of color going through. Here's your ace of spades. You can see the custom pip and font there in the corner. It's made up of those just little tiny shards of color coming together to make the shapes. And then you have this large, bold spade pip in the middle with just tons of little breaks of color all the way through. Again, kind of that stained glass look that you're going to see continued all the way through. No other writing or anything on it, but nice ace of spades. The number cards are going to have a kind of those same pips in the middle and a standard layout, but they're going to be much, much smaller. So you get really tiny little pips, which give you a lot of negative space as you go through these, a lot of blank space going all the way through. There's your number cards, and then you get to the quartz, where unlike all that white space you see here, you're going to get tons of color on the quartz. The quartz are full stained glass window effect. Here's all three of them, and feature pretty recognizable court kind of poses there with the Jack, Queen, and the King, but with tons of color from that stained glass effect. And in the corner of each one of them, you can see the actual pip coming through. So you got the Jack holding a sword here, and then a Queen, and then the King with his axe. Really nice. The black cards in the deck are done in this kind of green, blue, and yellow, which incidentally is the same color as the emerald green deck's primary usage. Now, as you go to the reds, this is going to match more of the backs of the cards in that ruby red color. So that's what what's used for the reds. So here's your ace of diamonds, and it's pretty much the same look. Now, one slight knock on this one, all of the quartz have the exact same poses. They just go from the reds to the greens as you go through the different suits, but it's the exact same three quartz again. And then here's your club quartz. So this is going to be just what you expect to see as you go through number cards. Another big bold ace. I love that they did all four of the aces with the large pip. Really like when decks do that. And then there's your hearts, again, the same poses. And there you go. So that's the deck. As far as the handling, it's printed on the Carta Mundi B9 stock. This is one of the last decks. They're actually discontinuing this and using their slimline stock for most decks. So if you've handled any of the other Carta Mundi ones, you know that they're kind of a thicker card, really a lot more durable of a card, but they handle really, really nice. I'm a big fan of this stock. Disappointed they're going to be discontinuing it, but holds up for fans and cuts really, really nicely. For me, these have a little bit of a tendency to start clumping a little bit if you use them a ton, but out of the box, they handle beautifully. So I'm going to take a quick look over at the emerald green one. It is pretty much the same deck of cards other than the coloring here. So you'll see now it's done with greens and teals. Now, interestingly, while these look like they're really dramatically different colors, it's really only a single color that's switched out. So anywhere where you see the red or pinkish color is going to be switched out for green over here. Other than that, it's the exact same color. So they both use orange, blue, and that off-white in the exact same places. But it's amazing how swapping out one color can give just a completely different feel despite the sense of a lot of different colors on this deck. So there are the two backs in comparison. And then as you get to the deck itself, really the only difference is going to be the backs of the cards. So there's the comparison of the two. Again, now using more of those greens in place of the reds. But the deck itself is the same. So the black cards, which were already in that kind of emerald green color, are the black cards. Red cards are exactly the same. So no differences in the deck itself. Handles the same stock, same everything. So that's the two decks. So Bloodlines from Riffle Shuffle and Gregory Darroll. So hope you enjoyed those. Let me know if there's more decks you want to see. Always looking for what is going to be interesting to you guys. Subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. And I will see you for the next one.